Throughout this series, we have covered the Tier 0 illions, the Tier 1 illions, the Tier 2 illions, the Tier 3 illions, and, of course, most recently, the Tier 4 illions. 1 magillion is where we left off last. A number so large, so vast, that one struggles to find a compelling thought experiment to describe the size of this number. I mean, by the end of part 2, we had already surpassed the number of ways to arrange the atoms in a Googol observable universes. 1 magillion here is, in fact, larger than the number of ways to arrange the atoms of a Googolplex observable universes. Of course, though, as you well know by now, it can always get larger. 1 magillion, for example, is essentially 0 in comparison to 1 gigillion. And 1 gigillion is essentially 0 in comparison to 1 astillion. Of course, all of these naming conventions follow the illion names that you have come to expect by this point. Each one of these prefix changes corresponds to an increase of 3 in the highest exponent on each of these numbers, just as all of the Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3 illions did before them, until, eventually, you reach the fabled multillion. 1 multillion is the last illion named by Jonathan Bowers, who is somewhat of the founding father of Googolology. Past 1 multillion, you enter somewhat of a no-man's land of highly disorganized and highly unconventional names. There are some extensions to Bowers' illions that do make a reasonable amount of sense and that are simple enough to follow, relatively speaking, of course. However, all of those naming conventions, as good as some of them might be, are even less standardized than the names which Bowers presented, which are already, in and of themselves, not very standard. That shouldn't be surprising though, since when you're dealing with numbers this big that have literally zero use in the real world, there is no need for them to be standardized. The advantage of the Illion's naming convention put forth by Jonathan Bowers is that every single integer between 1 and 1 multillion has a unique name. You cannot find a single integer between 1 and 1 multillion that cannot be named using Jonathan Bowers' illions. Granted, some of those names might take you more than 10 years to fully pronounce, and some of them might take you more than 10 to the 3,000 years to fully pronounce. And frankly, those names are on the shorter side. But the point is, those names are there. They are defined. Every one of these numbers has a unique name. That property is incredibly useful when you're naming Tier 1 illions. It's fun and exciting when you're naming Tier 2 and even Tier 3 illions. But let's be honest here. It's quite cumbersome when you have to go any farther beyond that. We are in a realm now where these illion names are non-standard, non-useful, and certainly not easy nor intuitive to memorize. Of course, all of these numbers being totally useless is no problem for us since, well, that's kind of what the point of the video is, but the fact that they are so non-standard does mean it's time to move on. It is time to put the illions in the rear view mirror. They have been fun, they have been fascinating, but ultimately, they have not been quite useless enough. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the neighborhood of the Googles. You all are quite familiar with 1 Googol by now, a number that we discussed and well surpassed in part 1 of this series. And you are likewise quite familiar with a Googolplex, another number that we have discussed and well surpassed. But how many of you are familiar with a Googol duplex? Or a Googol triplex? Or better yet, a Googol quadplex? The naming conventions for the Googol family is quite straightforward and much easier to understand than the naming conventions for illion numbers. 10 to the power of 100 is quite simply a Googol, and 10 to the power of 10 to the 100, aka 10 to the Googol, is a Googolplex. 10 to the Googolplex power is a Googol duplex. Du, of course, means 2, and refers to the fact that there are 2 tens in between the 100 at the top of the power tower and the 10 at the bottom of the power tower. Truly, a very straightforward naming convention. If you wanted to, you could even think about a Googol as a Googol zeroplex or a Googol nullplex, because there are 0 extra tens between the initial 10 at the base and the top 100. The Googol family will of course end up using a lot of the same or similar prefixes that the illions did. For example, this number right here is a Googol sextuplex because there are 6 tens between the initial 10 at the base and the 100 at the top of the tower. And this number here, a Googol sextuplex, is already so much larger than 1 multillion could ever dream of being. It took 3.5 videos just to build our way up to 1 multillion. And here, just a couple of minutes into the Googol section, we have already obliterated it! 1 multillion is nothing, and I mean nothing, in comparison to a Googol kinplex, which then, in turn, is nothing in comparison to a Googol sextuplex. I don't think that any of us, myself included, can really understand just how fast the Googol hierarchy grows. Again, the advantage of the illions over the Googols is that 1 multillion minus 1 has a name. It is a named number, whereas a Googol sextuplex minus 1 does not have its own unique name. The only way that you can refer to that particular integer is by saying a Googol sextuplex minus 1. So, if it's completeness that you want, if it's completeness that you're after, the illions are your friends. But if you just want to get big, and you want to get big fast, the Googles is where you want to be looking, my friend. And in the grand scheme of things, a Googol sextuplex is simply a child's plaything. If you want to talk about some really large numbers, let's look at a Googol deciplex, or a Googol vigentiplex, or maybe even a Googol centiplex, a Googol milliplex, a Googol microplex. This video is really only meant to serve as an introduction to the Googols. If you want to really get into them, if you want to really see just how crazy and insane these numbers and their names can get, stick around. We'll talk about that more in part 5.